Okay, before I get started, I want to state the obvious. No, this was not on purpose. This is honestly what I was wearing, and I did not do this for any sort of ha-ha, look what he's wearing. I did it because this is what I was wearing, and I decided, obviously, since it's Friday, this would be your video. And the reason why it took so long to get it out is because, just like the previous announcements, I have been waiting for John Murdy to tell us about Hollywood's event before I mention the maze itself, given the fact that it's a share, another share. And you know, I'm not the kind of guy to say I told you so, but I told you so. And no disrespect, I have known for quite a while that this was coming to both events, and there was a little apprehension on the Hollywood side of things, and there was a lot of people that did not believe that it was going to come to their event, but, well, like I said, do I have to bring the possessed guy back again? Like I said, I'm not exactly sure. I can just channel him like he's some sort of bionic ability or anything. Sorry, I was watching Lab Rats, so that's the reason I use that terminology. But yes, this is a share, and should be and will be our final share of the year for Halloween Horror Nights in both Orlando and Hollywood, and that being the announcement of Dracula Untold. Now, I'm going to start with Hollywood in this case. There's a little bit more information about Hollywood, but I do want to mention everything, obviously. That's the reason why I have all this stuff here. Now, the first thing that was mentioned, before we even get started, the old school video with the fire in the background and the word and the hashtag HHN24 was started in Orlando. Even though I'm going to mention Hollywood, I'm going to start with that. And it said Impale. And immediately I went to Horror Night Nightmares, and sure enough, on the forums, people were like, ugh, really? I thought Orlando were just getting it. And, well, no. So, according to them, we all have to suffer. But I will say right now that this does intrigue me for a lot of reasons. Number one, this is an unknown. This is a 100% unknown. Why? Because this movie's not even out yet. Doesn't even come out until the middle of October. I believe it's October 17th. So, because of that, we do not know anything going into this. And that's a good thing, because that means that we're going to be completely surprised by what we see. It's not an original, it's obviously an intellectual property, but we can treat it as such because we don't know what to expect. We have a couple of ideas, a couple high spots we know we're going to hit, but other than that, everything is like going into a blank canvas. When we walk into that maze on the opening nights of Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando and Hollywood this year, we're not going to know what to expect. We're just going to see something, and we're going to be either A, really excited for the movie, which is what Universal wants, or we're going to be like, wow, this definitely can't live up to the movie, because this was awesome and the movie's not going to be very good. Or the other one's like, well, you know, this may sucked. I'm really not excited for the movie, and it's going to kill its box office. Anything's a possibility now. Obviously, the fans are rather fickle, especially that's how it works on the internet nowadays. But let's talk about Hollywood's event real quick. Hollywood's info. Let's break it down from John Murdy himself using his @HorrorNights Twitter feed. Dracula. That's it. That's all I said. We're Dracula. No, I'm kidding. Of course, everyone knows the story of the Transylvanian count who feeds on human blood. But few people know it was based on a real man. Now, this man was Vlad Tepes. He ruled the area we know today as Transylvania in the 13th century. Now, Vlad was a bloodthirsty tyrant, known for taking sadistic pleasure in watching his victims suffer. So much so history gave him a second name, Vlad the Impaler. It is said that over 100,000 people perished during his reign, most by his preferred method of punishment, being impaled alive. Yes, it was staring at us the whole time. But Vlad was something else to his subjects, a hero, who bravely faced the Turkish hordes in order to protect his homeland. It was during this fateful time that Vlad was forced to make a terrible choice, to embrace the dark side of vampirism and gain unholy power. But there's a price for such a power. Eternal damnation. Once a vampire feeds, the thirst for blood never ends. Now the horrific story of Vlad can finally be told. Welcome to Dracula Untold, Reign of Blood. A terrifying new maze based upon the upcoming film Dracula Untold. You think you know the story of Dracula? Think again. So, that was how we started everything out in Hollywood. Excuse me. And the reason why I waited, because there obviously was another code word here. And I wanted to find out all the particulars in what the code word actually meant. Now, I will say right now, this code word used to be called Malcolm. Now, I cannot say specifically 100% for sure why it was called Malcolm, and at one point this was switched to Empire. But my friend, Jeremy Films with a double Z, I actually saw something on his Twitter feed, and he asked Murdy specifically to tell him, well, to tell everyone, about why it was called Malcolm, and Murdy said he would tell him and him only. All he had to say was Malcolm was connected, like we believed it would be, to Malcolm McDowell, but it was something that had to be changed because this connects to something of Malcolm McDowell's career, obviously, and this is no longer in the maze. At least that's what I'm going to guess. I don't know this to be true, but I'm going to go on my personal speculation with all the research I did for Malcolm, and Murdy knows he watched those videos. I would state that I believe that the reason why Malcolm was the code word is because Malcolm McDowell in 1979 played Caligula. And Caligula is in the cast list for Dracula Untold, the movie, but I have a feeling that that had to be cut for whatever reason. It's Caligula. I can understand there'd be a reason it'd have to be cut. A tad bit too risque. But that's just my personal speculation. I read the word perfect on my screen here. My personal speculation. I don't know this to be true. But why is it Empire? Well, here's the Empire. I can say I got some of this. The codename Empire does connect to the Ottoman Empire, and the familiar setting is Transylvania, just like I thought. Now, the Michael Jackson album in question was not Immortal, which it actually still could be if you really want to think about it, because it works. Actually, Murdy went with History, because this Dracula Untold story is his story. Really, this stuff's like staring us right in the face and we never knew it. Now, there was another hint that a lot of people called a red herring, and that would say, basically, a song by one of the X-Men is also a hint as well. This song being from The Boy from Oz, from Hugh Jackman, which we also speculated to be the answer. But it was a movie called Everything Old is New Again. So, basically, what this is saying is that Universal released the original Dracula in 1931. So, basically, what that means, it's a new twist on an old film. So that's the reason why it was the way it was. Okay, it makes perfect sense. Now, he went on to say that it's going to be located in the Parisian courtyard, which everyone was agreeing that that was going to be the case. But he can't tell us much more because basically that would be very spoilery. Why? Because obviously the movie doesn't come out until October 17th. Now, there is going to be some very cool environments as well as characters, and it's going to be a period maze set in the 13th century. So if this maze were another movie, I know it's a movie, but if this maze were also based on a movie, it would probably be directed by Mike Leigh. Anyway, I thought some of you would appreciate that. Now, furthermore, to continue the Hollywood mentionings, I will state that there is 2 more mazes to be left announced in Hollywood. One of which being code word soap commercial, which we have known for a long time, to be what is now very guaranteed as the Slaughtered Lamb pub in the Jurassic Park queue, and that is An American Werewolf in London, and that would also equal out to John Landis being the special guest at 1 p.m. on Sunday at Scare LA's presentation. But Murdy went further and stated that there's another announcement left to be made. And the final announcement of Halloween Horror Nights 2014 in Hollywood looks to be our original maze. Quite interesting. There's a lot of speculation on what this original maze might be. There's a story on NPR which basically gave the inspiration for it. And there's 3 different characters, one of which being Lenny from Of Mice and Men. That's another connection right there. Murdy himself voicing one of the characters. That was confirmed. And obviously he is talking about another clue being packaging that always used to freak him out back in the day of a certain kind of food. I've always jumped to this, and I think it was confirmed. I believe Inside Universal confirmed it via one of their forums a long time ago, that this sounds more and more likely that this maze is going to be involving Route 66, which is the song that we think is going to be the tie-in here. It may not be, but it sounds like it's Route 66, and it sounds like roadside attractions along Route 66, and may or may not also involve clowns in some form or another, and does involve a certain musician, which a lot of us are speculating to be Slash. So that's what we have to look forward to, and that's going to be in the Mummy queue. So that's what we've got left for Hollywood. There's still at least 2 scare zones to be announced, and like I said, I mean, could they go with Ghouls or Corpse, potentially? Could they go with Jack the Ripper? That's a possibility. And they could bring clowns back, or something with a Z on the end of it, because that seems to be their milieu, so it works pretty well for me. I think that might be the possibility, but I can't really speculate on scare zones in Hollywood because I don't know much about Hollywood's event. But I will state, as long as the dates line up, and it sounds to me, looking upon these dates for this year, that the dates will line up, that I, Sir Owen Disney, will actually be going to Hollywood's event next year. As a matter of fact, I will be in Orlando for opening weekend next year, on the 19th and the 20th, sorry, the 18th and 19th, and on the 20th, I'm going to get on a plane. I'm going to fly to LA, and I'm going to meet HHN Fan 16, my friend Tristan, and we're going to go to Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood. And then I'm going to enjoy my time in California, go to Disneyland, go to California Adventure, go back to Universal and actually hit the rides and attractions. And then the day of that Thursday, which will be the next set of dates for Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando, I'm going to come back to town, I'm going to check into Cabana Bay, and I'm going to enjoy the second week of Halloween Horror Nights. So what I'm going to do is something I know a lot of you have done, and I know a lot of you want to do. I'm going to literally do Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando, get on a plane, do Hollywood the next night, and then be there the next week for Orlando's second weekend. So I'm very excited for that. It should be really awesome. So, that was Hollywood's event, and it's going to be called Reign of Blood, because apparently in Hollywood, a little tagline works well. It's not just the property, it's the property and then a tagline, which works well for a maze. But here in Orlando, it's a little bit different, and there is no need for anything like that. This actually was mentioned via Mike Aiello and the @HorrorNightsORL Twitter feed, and it said, if you thought Dracula had been banished for good, think again. I'm excited to bring you the 4th house reveal for Halloween Horror Nights 24 at Universal Orlando, an all-new house that is inspired by Universal Pictures' upcoming epic action adventure, Dracula Untold. Now, the film does come out October 17th, but you can experience a living preview of it at Halloween Horror Nights starting September 19th. Now, basically some introduction on the house. It's a living preview, so just like the Wolfman, it's going to be basically going into the movie before you actually see the movie. So like I said, it's like you're going into a blank maze that we have no idea what's going to happen. Now we do see things, and we'll hear things, obviously, but when it comes down to it, we're basically going to be in the dark. And that's pretty awesome, because that means that they can do a whole lot with this, and this could be extremely successful. Now, I know there's a lot of people that are very, not excited about this at all. And it's very much been a IP-heavy year. The reason why I think it's an IP-heavy year is because next year's original heavy, because it's the 25th anniversary year. So yes, that's the reason why I think that we're going to get our horror homecoming next year. And that's the reason why we're getting so many IPs this year, because they're going to be so original heavy next year, with, like I said, a few hardcore IPs that are going to knock your socks off and lead in for the general public, and then everyone can enjoy those as well as the original properties that are designed by Universal Arts and Design. So, the house will take you through the terrifying origin of the man who became Dracula. There's going to be gothic scenes that highlight Vlad the Impaler's transition into this bloodthirsty creature. Now, there should to be a lot of callbacks to Gothic in this house, which makes me very happy because obviously I did not get to go through Gothic. The only thing that will probably be missing from this will be the actual gargoyles themselves, because they don't really fit. They might fit, but I don't know if they're going to come to life. I doubt it. We haven't seen the movie. We don't know anything. So as you enter, you first see the cave that Dracula first emerged from on his path to damnation. I believe it's the cave that's in the trailer. The house will become eerie as you proceed through a destroyed village. This should be really awesome. Seeing people with like pitchforks and like fire, like saying going after Vlad would be awesome. And into the woods on the way to Dracula's foreboding castle. So yes, we're getting 2 castles at Halloween Horror Nights this year. One of which in a soundstage, the other of which obviously on the stage, really small at Rocky Horror. In the final scene, you will come face to face with Dracula's victims that were impaled and begging to be saved before he took their last breath. So yeah, you know, the guy that looked like he was about to be like destroyed and killed in Cabin in the Woods when you first walk in. The guy saying, "Help me!" Yeah, we're not going to be able to help the impaled people either. They're pretty much done. So each turn in this house apparently represents a horrifying experience straight out of the movie that we haven't seen yet. So like I said, this is all going to be fresh to us, including the war between Dracula and the Turks. Dracula is here and his thirst for blood is never ending. So, like I said before, when we were talking about the code word, and Murdy was talking about the fact that it was a book or a movie. Well, Dracula Untold is a movie. Now, from what I've heard, the Dracula Untold is basically just another retelling of Bram Stoker's Dracula. So, obviously we know the character, but do we know the true story? We're going to find out in the maze. I'm very excited about this, actually. Excuse me. I will state right now, this house actually has me more intrigued after reading the description for it. I was like, Dracula Untold, sure, whatevs. But it was like, I read the descriptions, and I was like, this actually might be fun. And you know what? For every person that says they're not going to go in this house, then that's fine. I'll go in it. No issues there. I really like our lineup this year, and we've got 3 originals to come still. And then 1 hardcore IP that everyone knows is coming. But I still think that Orlando's going to make us wait until the end to figure it out. I think we get 1 more reveal week next week, and I think we're original heavy, and we end with the maze that everyone has already seen, because there was pictures posted, and it was basically the opening day of Diagon Alley. Everybody had to walk through it if you were that far back in the line, which I'm sorry if you were. But you got to experience Diagon Alley, and I haven't yet. I have to wait about 40 days before I can. Oh, 40 days! 40 days and 40 nights, and I'll be home again. It's going to be awesome. So yes, I'll begin the 30-day countdown very, very soon. So yeah, that's what we've got right now, and that's what we have. I'm really interested in this maze. Like I said before, and I said in the AVP video the other day, I was not a fan of Alien vs. Predator the movie or the sequel Requiem, and that doesn't mean I'm not excited for the maze. I don't know anything about Dracula, to be honest. And like I said, Dr. Jimmy did state this was going to be a very Stringoid heavy year, and with Dracula Untold and From Dusk Till Dawn, that's exactly going to happen. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what we have, especially this being a maze that the only people that will know before they go into it what is going to happen are the members of Arts and Design, because we do not know what's going to happen. We don't have anything we can speculate is going to be in there. The only thing we have is a teaser trailer, and that's it. And the teaser trailer doesn't show much at all. So I'm really interested to see exactly what they're going to do with it, and it's going to be awesome to see where we go from here. So like I said, we have our next announcement in Hollywood on Sunday at 1 p.m. Western Time, and that's going to be presumably our announcement of An American Werewolf in London with John Landis as a special guest. And then the original maze, which may or may not feature Slash, Killer Clowns, Route 66, roadside attractions, what have you. Yeah, that's going to be announced later next week, and that's going to coincide with our reveal week, which I believe will start on Monday, probably about 11 o'clock. You may see somebody returning, if you will. It may not be exactly his factory, or it might be. You never know. You know, I believe for a long time that Jack would be in charge of the rumored steampunk clown factory. I don't necessarily believe you're going to see him in the clown factory, but I do believe when the house empties into the streets of San Francisco, you're going to see Jack right up in your face, and the return of Jack at the event. Whether it's going to be at the beginning or rumors have it at the not until the end. But either way, if you don't see Jack this year, I can 100% without complete certainty, which I know is a completely random statement and completely non-factual statement, or is it, that Jack will return next year without a doubt for the Horror Homecoming if they do end up going that route, and I don't see a reason why they won't. So, what do I think our next announcement's going to be in Orlando? I do think it is going to be that Clown Factory, and thanks to Orlando United, I have found out that it's going to have some elements from Penn and Teller's Nuked Las Vegas house, which is awesome because obviously that was a house I really enjoyed. Granted, the one thing in Nuked Las Vegas I wanted to see, I couldn't see in person, but that's the one thing in the Clown Factory I would want. I'd want actually Penn and Teller to be in there, because like I said, if you watch the first video here on the Horror Nights playlist, yeah, I kind of got gypped out of meeting them on my birthday, so I want to rectify that as soon as possible. So, that's what I have for Dracula Untold, and I'm looking forward to it. It's another maze that I'm intrigued about, and it's piqued my interest. And we have 3 originals left to go, and the more I'm hearing about it, the more I'm hearing more things I like about these originals. Actually, I will state right now, the Clown Factory is one of my most anticipated houses of the year this year, and the only thing we really don't know about, now we've heard a lot about what will go into the parade building, and we can, like, I jump around from spoilers to talking in code here, but that's just how it works sometimes. It's early, give me a break. So, I watched Turtles last night, so there you go. Oh, by the way, before I get to the review that's going to be airing tomorrow, and I'll mention that in a minute for a reason why, Turtles isn't bad. And I never thought I'd say this on camera especially, but Megan Fox isn't bad either. And that's the first time I have ever said that, and probably will never say it again. Unless you watch that video tomorrow, and then you'll hear me say that again, most likely. So there. So, that's what we've got right now, and very much looking forward to the event this year. 3 originals, and the parade building house, it looks to me like it might potentially be offensive. That's from what I'm reading. But you never know. I believe A&D will put a nice little spin on it, and it won't be as offensive as people think it might be. And I did say a while back that there would not be an urban legend this year. If there's going to be an urban legend at Halloween Horror Nights 24 in Orlando, I do believe at this point that this could possibly be in the parade building. Now granted, the house that was scrapped From Dusk Till Dawn was going to be Legendary Truth connected, and I still believe that Legendary Truth could, at the last minute, be added to the event. Now, I think that obviously it wouldn't be last minute for Art and Design, but it would be last minute for us, because it would be something that would be added at the reveal of the official website. So, website's been kind of lackluster so far, but hopefully something big is coming, and the return of in-park gaming for Legendary Truth will return. But yeah, I also believe that there is, which we were going to have the Legendary Truth House, the codename Ritual, which sounded pretty good the more I heard about it, and a lot less like El Cucuy, like I thought it might have been. I will state that I believe that the parade building, if there's any chance for an urban legend this year, I honestly think that they may end up going with the parade building location. And we could be talking about the Lost Colony in Roanoke, or the Wendigo, or Croatoan, just like Urban Legends Roanoke, or Urban Legends Croatoan, or Urban Legends Wendigo. Should be interesting. So yeah, that's what I've got right now, and that's what I'm looking forward to. So, as always, I will say right now that before I give my shout-outs, if you haven't yet, go to Twitter right now and follow John Murdy and the gang on the West Coast at Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood. It is at Horror Nights. If you want to follow Mike Aiello and the gang here on the East Coast in Orlando for Halloween Horror Nights, you can follow at Horror Nights ORL. And if you haven't yet, go out and check out these awesome websites. There's going to be a link here in the description bar on the bottom here of Horror Night Nightmares, as well as HHN Crypt, Theme Park Insight, as well as forums of Orlando United, Orlando Informer. Check those out. Those are awesome sites and very informative. And you can also chat with like-minded individuals that way on their forum pages, so check them out. As well as you can check out the Horror Nights Updaters all over YouTube. You can check out my good friends on YouTube, the Horror Nights Updaters. It is Horror Nights Updaters on YouTube, as well as their individual channels. My good friend John, which is Psychomassacre Films. My good friend Vic, Dr. Emmett Brown 1, Admiral HHN, HHN Trogdor, HHN Fan 16, my friend Tristan, as well as Neil, which is UK HHN, Mr. Horror Nights, the Thrill Seeker Network, the Red Steel TV, the Crazy Englishman, Deadly Fear 1283, Jeremy Films with a double Z, HHN Fan and HHN Fanboy. Check them out. Check their videos out. They've got some great content, and always big shout out to Dr. Jimmy for his decryptic performances, which have been great this year. Hopefully I'll run into some of you, or most of you, at the event this year. So that being said, if you like these videos, tell your friends about them, leave a comment, do subscribe, help spread the word about Pop. If you haven't yet, go to Facebook, click like on that Facebook fan page. It is Sir Owen Disney Pop on Facebook. Send me a friend request, tell me you like my stuff, tell me you enjoy the Halloween Horror Nights videos and the other videos here on Pop, and you can do so by a friend request on Facebook. It's Owen Disney. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, you're more than welcome to. It's at Sir Owen Disney. Last but certainly not least, you want to think your thoughts, comments, queries, and opinions. Tell me what you think is coming for Halloween Horror Nights 24 in Orlando or Halloween Horror Nights 2014 in Hollywood. Excuse me. I was trying to hold that back before the video was over, but I could not. I apologize. That's what happens if you don't know that, folks. But the thing is, if you'd like to do that, you're more than welcome to. We can talk general Universal. We can talk about Diagon Alley if you'd like. Talk Horror Nights in general if you'd like to. We can do that, no problem. Or if you'd like to become a popcaster yourself, you can send your content. And like I said, as always, if you have a way to get Sir Owen Disney into the employee preview night for Halloween Horror Nights 24 in Orlando on the 17th of September, please, by all means, send me a correspondence email at sirowendisney@gmail.com. So, when's our next video? Sounds to me like you're getting a video on Sunday. So, that will be the case. This Sunday will be the video for, presumably, An American Werewolf in London. And then sometime next week you'll get your video for the original maze. Well, Orlando looks like it's going to be a reveal week. But real quick, I will give you a pop update, which is weird because I'm giving you before the outro. But yeah, tomorrow will actually be AJ's movie reviews. It's going to be a day late because we watched Turtles last night because there was nothing else showing out with it. So we have to watch Into the Storm, Step Up All In, and 100-Foot Journey today. So that's the reason the videos won't be getting out till later. So that's going to be your Saturday video. Ashley will be returning. He actually just sent me a video, and that's going to be Gaming with Ash coming later this weekend as well as this Sunday, a very special versus. It is Cryptic Comment of the choreography, and we're going to lead to NXT and SmackDown on Monday, Raw on Tuesday, and Impact. It did happen. Hashtag it happened, and that's going to happen on Wednesday. Thursday, we'll see what happens, but of course, peppered throughout that will be Halloween Horror Nights reveals of the Clown Factory, as well as the original Going in the Parade building, codenamed Crows, and we're going to be hearing about the porcelain dolls going into Charlie, and one final reveal when he finally comes home. So, thank you guys and girls out there for watching, and until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I gotta say about that.